Most killers run from attention. They hide. They destroy evidence. They do everything possible to disappear. The Zodiac Killer did the opposite. He wrote letters. He sent codes. He mailed pieces of his victims' clothing to newspaper editors. He called police stations directly, from payphones, just to brag. He wanted to be known. He wanted to be feared. And he wanted the world to know that no matter how hard they searched, they would never find him. So far, he has been right. For over 50 years, the identity of the Zodiac Killer has remained one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American criminal history. 5 confirmed victims. More than 2,000 suspects investigated. Not a single arrest. But in 2026, for the first time in decades, investigators may be closer than ever to a breakthrough. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. It began on the night of December 20th, 1968, on a remote stretch of Lake Herman Road outside Vallejo, California. 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen and 17-year-old David Faraday were on their first date. They drove to a secluded spot, the kind teenagers had been going to for years. A lover's lane. They never made it home. A passing motorist discovered their bodies on the side of the road just after 11 p.m. David had been shot in the head at close range. Betty Lou had been shot 5 times in the back as she tried to run. There were no witnesses. No shell casings that led anywhere meaningful. No motive investigators could identify. It looked like a random, brutal attack. Police had no idea it was only the beginning. 7 months later, on July 4, 1969, the killer struck again, this time at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. He shot 2 young people in a parked car. One of them, Darlene Ferrin, died at the hospital. The other, Mike Majo, survived, barely. Minutes after the shooting, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call from a payphone 2 blocks away. A calm, deliberate voice said, "I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year." Then the line went dead. 3 weeks later, 3 separate Bay Area newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald, each received a letter. Each letter contained a piece of a cipher, a coded message split into 3 parts. The writer demanded the newspapers print the ciphers on their front pages, or he would go on a killing spree. He signed each letter not with a name, but with a symbol. A circle with a crosshair through it. Circled plus. He called himself the Zodiac. The Zodiac sent 4 coded messages in total. Each one was a puzzle, a maze of symbols, numbers, and letters designed to taunt investigators and the public. The first cipher, known as the Z408, was cracked within a week, not by the FBI or professional cryptographers, but by a high school teacher and his wife in Salinas, California. What it revealed was chilling. The message described the Zodiac's pleasure in killing, and his belief that his victims would become his slaves in the afterlife. But the most complex cipher, a 340-character code known as the Z340, resisted every attempt to crack it for over 50 years. Then, in November 2020, a team of 3 civilian codebreakers using specialized decryption software finally broke it open. The decoded message was a rambling, self-aggrandizing taunt, mocking investigators for failing to catch him and confirming he was still alive when it was written. 2 shorter ciphers, the Z13 and the Z32, remain officially unsolved to this day. Many believe the Z13 contains the Zodiac's actual name. If it does, the answer has been sitting in plain sight for over 50 years. The letters were terrifying enough. But the Zodiac kept killing. On September 27, 1969, he attacked Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard at Lake Berryessa in Napa County. This time was different. He appeared wearing a hood, a black executioner-style mask with the crosshair symbol stitched onto the chest. He tied the couple up, then stabbed them repeatedly. Cecilia Shepard died 2 days later. Brian Hartnell survived. Before leaving, the Zodiac wrote the dates of all his attacks on the door of Hartnell's car. In marker. Calmly. As if signing a work of art. Just 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, the Zodiac shot cab driver Paul Stein in San Francisco's Presidio Heights neighborhood. He then cut a piece of Stein's blood-soaked shirt and mailed it to the Chronicle as proof. In that same letter, He threatened to shoot children getting off a school bus. The Bay Area was gripped by terror. In a now famous moment, two police officers encountered a heavy-set white man walking calmly away from the Stein crime scene that night. A police dispatcher had mistakenly broadcast the wrong description of the suspect. The officers let the man walk past. It may have been the closest anyone ever came to catching the Zodiac. Over the decades, more than 2,000 people have been investigated as potential Zodiac suspects. But one name has stood above all others. Author Leigh Allen. Allen was a former elementary school teacher and convicted sex offender from Vallejo, California. Multiple friends and acquaintances told investigators he had spoken about wanting to hunt and kill people. He reportedly called himself Zodiac. He owned a Zodiac brand watch, the same brand whose logo matches the crosshair symbol the killer used to sign his letters. He was the only suspect police ever publicly named. Search warrants were served on his home, twice. And yet, the physical evidence did not fully cooperate. DNA recovered from the Zodiac's letters did not match Allen. His fingerprints did not match those at the scene. A handwriting expert ruled him out. Arthur Leigh Allen died in 1992, taking whatever he knew to his grave. He was never charged. The case went officially inactive in 2004. It was reopened in 2006. And it has never been closed since. And now, in 2026, this 50-year-old case has taken a stunning new turn. An independent investigator named Alex Baber claims he has decoded the Zodiac's unsolved Z13 cipher using an artificial intelligence-assisted cryptography tool. According to Baber, the cipher decodes to read the name Marvin Merrill, an alias for a man named Marvin Margolis. The connection goes deeper. Margolis was a suspect in the 1947 murder of Elizabeth Short, the infamous Black Dahlia case. Baber claims he found the word Zodiac hidden in a drawing believed to have been made by Margolis. He also claims handwriting similarities between Zodiac letters and documents attributed to Margolis, and that both men made the same unusual phonetic spelling errors. When Baber visited Margolis's surviving son and revealed his findings, the son, by his account, turned white, his hands began shaking, and he reached across the table and grabbed Baber's hand. As of May 2026, the LAPD confirmed it is now testing a government fingerprint card from 1943, Margolis's original military intake card, comparing it against evidence from the Zodiac case. No official conclusions have been reached. Margolis has not been named a suspect by any law enforcement agency. He died decades ago. But for the first time in years, there is movement. 5 people are confirmed dead at the Zodiac's hands. Betty Lou Jensen, David Faraday, Darlene Ferrin, Cecilia Shepard, Paul Stein. The Zodiac himself claimed to have killed 37. The truth, the full truth, has never been established. What we know is this: someone out there in the late 1960s was intelligent, organized, and deeply dangerous. He planned his attacks meticulously. He communicated directly with the press and police, not out of carelessness, but out of arrogance. He believed he was smarter than everyone. And for 50 years he has been right. But forensic genealogy, the same technology that unmasked the Golden State Killer in 2018, is now being applied to the Zodiac's letters and envelopes. DNA recovered from the stamps and seals the Zodiac licked may still hold the answer. Scientists and investigators have not stopped working. The Zodiac Killer wrote more than 20 letters. He sent pieces of his victims' belongings. He drew maps. He encoded his name. He did everything but confess, and yet the world still cannot say with certainty who he was. That might be the most terrifying thing of all. Not that a killer can hide in the shadows, but that one can stand in the light, waving, and still never be caught. Who do you think the Zodiac was? Drop your theories in the comments. This vault wants to hear from you. Hit subscribe. Every case deserves to be remembered. Every victim deserves a name beside the mystery. We'll see you in the next vault.